Hey there, this is Women on the Brink. I'm your host, Chris Jeffrey, a registered acupuncturist and wellness advisor with a passion for helping women live happier and more balanced lives. When I'm away from work, I'm usually outside in nature, either walking the seawall or I'm hiking in the mountains. And like many of you, my life has been filled with moments of hardship, some that I thought I couldn't overcome and really left me questioning my own strength. But through these challenges, I discovered resilience, courage, and a renewed sense of purpose. So I'm here to share not just my journey, but the lessons I've learned, and to remind you that no matter what obstacles come your way, there's always a path forward. And just to let you know, this podcast is not prescriptive, it's an offering. So please take what resonates with you and leave the rest.
So, welcome back to Women on the Brink. I do have a little bit of something going on in my throat this week, so if I sound a little muffled, I do apologize. But hey, listen, if you're listening to this, congratulations, because not only have you survived 2025 so far, you've actually survived an entire 9-year energetic cycle, which I think you probably know everybody is talking about. And let me tell you, I don't know about you, but mine did not go quietly. Mine left the building dragging my dignity, my sanity, and I'm pretty sure anyway, one of my eyebrows. Now, let me explain something. They say that a 9-year cycle is like an energetic washing machine. And the first few years are the gentle rinse, some light challenges, maybe some subtle nudges, maybe a lesson or two. But the final year, yeah, that's the spin cycle of doom, which we've all just been living through, right? This is where the universe basically hurls your life against the drum at 1200 RPM and says, let's see what you're really made of here. And apparently, I'm made of caffeine and quite a bit of stubbornness and an unreasonable amount of emotional bubble gum to hold everything together. So the analogy I'm going to use here for my cycle is basically a locomotive. And it's one of those locomotives that starts out chugging away, but it gradually builds up steam and kind of loses control. So basically, what happened was mine started ramping up with each year, and the universe, I would say he was my conductor, but he was not wearing pants. So it's kind of as if the previous 8 years weren't enough for us. The ninth year shows up like, let's accelerate the whole thing and let's get it really moving. And so everything got louder and faster and weirder. And it was almost like as if spirit was saying to us, time's up, level up, or tap out. And of course, I didn't want to tap out, so I leveled up. So let's review the highlights. We're just going to go back 5 years. For all of us, that was COVID. We thought that would last maybe 3 weeks. Hilarious, right? Then, for me, it was the end of a long-term relationship because why not throw some heartbreak in there? And then I started working at a new acupuncture clinic that closed within 7 weeks. And it closed without warning. So there was no explanation. There was nothing, just poof. One day the door was closed, and we got a note from the bailiff saying that we had 1 hour to come in and collect our clinic supplies. So that was a few years ago. And now, fast forward to the last year where things really ramped up, and I'm in another clinic now, and it catches fire and it shuts down my practice for 2 months. And then came the Trump crisis. Let's not forget that. How can we? I mean, basically fried the nervous system of half of the planet. Then I had a bad car accident this year where my car was completely totaled, and fortunately, I'm okay, but it probably took 5 years off my life. Then my daughter was physically assaulted in broad daylight downtown, and honestly, no mother should ever have to go through that experience, and yet there we were. Then there was a loss of a friend and a loss of a family member, and then the universe decides, why not throw some premonitions in there and some visions and some borderline amount of intuition? And a full-blown light show in my bedroom, and I'm talking colors now. This isn't just, a few little lights flashing. I had purple and blue and green and white coming out of this particular light bulb. So, I don't know if it's like some friggin' portal for another dimension. I mean, I don't know. I still haven't figured that one out yet. And I'm not saying like, I've lived through a horror film, but honestly, if Netflix wants the rights, I mean, I'm willing to talk about it, okay? So, let's kind of look at what that 9-year cycle really means energetically. Let's get metaphysical for a second. So, a 9-year cycle is basically a full karmic sweep, it's a soul audit. So, it's basically happening to clear out anything that was never meant to stay. So, that means people, that means jobs, identities, patterns, coping mechanisms, unprocessed grief, expired dreams, everything. And year 9 is the final sweep that we're now experiencing, the cosmic exorcism. And it's kind of the moment where the universe says, okay, anything that is not aligned for the next chapter has to go. So here's the sledgehammer and good luck with that. So here we are. I mean, we're standing in the doorway of a brand new 9-year cycle. And I think that starts in February. And I mean, I think a lot of us feel like we've been battle tested, maybe spiritually upgraded and emotionally held together with lots of duct tape. And I feel like I've really seen some things and really felt some things and lived through some things that probably even Reagan, Reagan from The Exorcist, she's the main character, head turning around. I think even she would say, damn girl, are you okay? Because I mean, I'm still here, probably more alive and more awake, but I have been through some things. And have to say, the most important part to all of this, this whole saga, I have to say, we could view it as punishment, but honestly, I think it was just meant to bring us where we're going. So, as we wrap up this unhinged period, we are gonna be looking forward to how we're supposed to show up next, right? It's probably like a breakthrough sign what we've been through. And now we're stepping into this new clearer vision and hopefully some clearer energy. So, what does this actually look like for us going into the next 9-year cycle? Well, I mean, for me, I don't think it's gonna be about, sipping chamomile tea and tiptoeing in calm waters. No, I I highly doubt that. But let me just dust off my crystal ball here. I just Windexed it. And let's look inside there at the next 9-year cycle. And it's not showing any chaos or collapse or big homework assignments. Hmm. It's more about choice. So it's saying that this next round isn't about survival. Okay, thank God. It's more about selection. So we get to finally curate the lives we want. So that means we get to choose who we want, what we want. And Is it worth our energy and our emotional bandwidth? Yeah, I love that. Oh, and emergencies? Nope, there's going to be fewer of those. Clarity, there's going to be more of that. Storms? No, those are going to be calmer. And I don't think it's because the universe is getting nicer. I think it's more because we are getting calmer and clearer and we're highly allergic to friggin' nonsense, right? So this is kind of the era of no thank you becoming a full spiritual discipline, okay? And yes, new people will show up, people who will feel like upgrades and people who don't drain us. Oh my God. And people who speak the same emotional language. So opportunities won't feel random. They're going to feel like puzzle pieces sliding into a picture you've been trying to make sense of for years. And I think there will be surprises. That's what the crystal ball is showing. The good kind, though. Like, wait, like life can feel like this? That kind. And alignment won't be an abstract concept anymore. It's going to be more physical, more of a physical sensation. So, in short, the crystal ball is indicating that this next 9-year cycle is where things start really clicking into place for us. And that's not magically and not accidentally, but intentionally, with our hands on the wheel and a level of inner authority that kind of suspiciously feels like peace. So, if I really were a crystal ball reader, I would swirl the smoke and squint kind of dramatically and then smile with that knowing smile. And I'd say, I see fewer storms, more sovereignty, and a version of you who finally stops apologizing for your magic and go live like that woman already exists. And I think that's the energy we're taking into the next cycle.
Thanks for joining. And I want you to know that this isn't just a podcast, this is a movement. So share this information with your friends and let's go, ladies.